As Bud Mania continues, Terence Bud Crawford is doing his revenge tour, or should I say his media rounds, going back to some of the guys that, may have felt that Errol Spence Jr. was going to beat him. Now, Charlamagne the God has been one of the guys that's been very vocal about who he feels that win that fight. He was even bold enough to tell Terence Crawford to his face that Errol Spence was going to beat him. And you got to respect it. However, now Terence Bud Crawford comes back the victor in this fight with Errol Spence Jr. And yeah, he wants Charlamagne the God to apologize.
I mean, I gave myself donkey of the day. I
apologize.
He said apologize for a wrong sport pick.
And say you're a loser.
Say it all. Listen, I don't know if apology is necessary, but I was dead wrong.
Say you sorry for being dead wrong.
I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize for picking Errol Spence over you.
He picked Errol Spence way before, early on.
I did. The most impressive thing about the fight was everything I thought Errol Spence would do to beat you, you neutralized it.
Right.
Like every single thing. Was this a revenge tour? Are you just gonna go around to all the media outlets who said that Errol?
Now, after hearing what Charlamagne the God had to say, right? And salute to the Breakfast Club, man. Those guys seem to know their boxing, right? I don't expect them to know as much details as we know, but they seem to know a pretty hefty amount of some boxing, right? So salute to those guys. But yeah, amongst many other topics brought up in this particular interview, Errol Spence Jr. got brought up. Yeah, that's right. Of course, the fight with Errol Spence Jr. didn't go the way that Charlamagne the God thought it would go. It went totally the opposite. Terence Crawford neutralized everything Errol Spence done in the fight and dominated Errol Spence Jr. But check out what Terence Bud Crawford had to say about Errol Spence Jr. and what should he do next.
Commentary after the fight, even like Stephen A. Smith believes Errol should retire. What's your thoughts after fighting him?
Well, I don't think he should retire. I think he should take a little time off. Get his mind right, and get back in the gym and get back focused. Because I never took a loss in the professional rankings, but I know how that can affect you mentally, being at this high level and losing the way you lost. You start questioning yourself. You start asking yourself certain questions. Do I still got it? Am I getting old? Am I slipping? You start asking yourself all different type of questions that you got to answer. So I just, would tell him, you're a great fighter. Take a little time off and come back and, do it again, but don't.
Have you spoke to him? Have you spoke to him after?
No, I sent him a text message. Check up on him.
And to hear what Bud had to say about Errol Spence, about retiring. A lot of people seem to believe that Spence needs to retire. Well, Crawford said that he needs to take some time off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Terence Crawford seemed like a great guy. He reached out to Spence to send him a text message and just check on him, see if he's all right and everything. And he's a really good dude, man. But he don't think Spence should retire. Just go back to the drawing board and come back better prepared, basically, right? So yeah, Errol Spence is, as we know, is out. Errol Spence is traveling with the wife and living his best life. So once Errol Spence comes back, we'll see what he's gonna do. Right? He has a certain amount of days to really engage this rematch clause with Terence Crawford. Will he do it? I don't think that should be I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. However, like I said before, Errol Spence is that guy. Once he says something, he's gonna follow through with it. It may not be right away, but he tends to follow through with the things he says. So we're going to see what happens with the big fish. But also got brought up in this same interview, great interview by the Breakfast Club, by the way, Jaron Boots Ennis. Yeah, that's right. Jaron Boots Ennis is an IBF mandatory challenger, the guy that's supposed to be next up in line for Terence Crawford's IBF title. And yeah, Terence Crawford is at the point of his career to where he feels like, look, man, I've been trying to get the big fights my whole time, and now I'm at this point now that I'm looking at nothing but the big fights. But will he fight Jaron Boots Ennis? Check out what he had to say.
What about Boots? Boots is the mandatory. He's calling you out now.
Listen, right now in my career, a lot of people like boost this, boost that, boost this. Fighting Boots is a lose-lose situation. I win, they're gonna say, oh well, he was young, he wasn't ready. He was talented, he was skillful, but you got the experience over him. You got, so much more than this kid that never been tested before. Because we always seen him win and fly in color. fashionate way, you know, to where we say, oh man, he's cold, he's skillful, but he's never been in the ring with nobody to test him. So me fighting Boots will be like, okay, well, you beat Boots. It's not a mega fight. It's going to sell a little bit because of your name and what you just accomplished, you know. But now what? I'm looking for a big challenge.
And after hearing what Bud had to say, he said it was a lose-lose situation, right? That the fight with Jaron Boots Ennis is a lose-lose situation. If I beat him, oh, he was young, he ain't done nothing yet. Oh, well, he ain't even fought a world champion yet. Oh, well, he just simply ain't done nothing. And there'll be another opponent that people can discredit Crawford for. And that really has been the story of Terence Crawford's career prior to him fighting Errol Spence Jr. Why would he go back down? However, me personally, as a fight fan, as a boxing fan, I would love to see that matchup. I think it's a matchup that should happen sooner rather than later. But Terence Bud Crawford, also I see it from his point of view. I've been trying to get all these big name fighters for years and years and years, and I wasn't able to get them. Now that I'm in this certain position, I'm going to be moving forward for the biggest and best fights available. So I'm not mad at Bud for not really looking at Boots Ennis' direction. I mean, this comes with the territory. Terence Crawford had to deal with this. And it's not like Boots Ennis is a big name, big draw. He just had his first main event and all this other stuff. So Boots Ennis kind of, I don't know, right? Unless IBF steps on the gas, Terence Bud Crawford, he's not really necessarily looking at Jaron Boots Ennis right now. Sorry for the Boots fans out there that wants to see him go in the ring with Terence Crawford because they feel that Boots Ennis is the only guy that could possibly beat Terence Crawford. It's looking like that fight may not happen because Terence Crawford has bigger options, bigger and better options, I should say, right? And then in the same interview, great interview, Tank Davis got brought up. And now we heard that Tank Davis has been saying a few things back and forth about Terence Crawford over the years. And Terence Crawford really, in my opinion, took the high road in regards to dealing with Tank Davis. But check out what he had to say about potential fight with Tank.
You know, he got the confidence in himself that he believed that he can do that because he's been knocking all these fighters out that he's been in the ring with. You know, so no knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels. You know, and if he come up to 147 and he's thinking he's just gonna knock Terence Crawford out, got another thing coming.
So that's the fight you would make happen if he wanted to come up to 147?
Yeah, I'll stay at 147 for him. 'Cause that's a big money.
That's a big fight. Yeah,
it's a big money fight. You know, yeah.
So Spence.
But then what? Everybody gonna say he was too small. Nobody gonna give me credit.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, "Oh man, you beat up a little guy that's fight at 135." You know, yeah, Tank like 5'5". You know, he's a little guy. You know, yeah, he can punch, but in his weight class. Not saying that he can't punch in any weight class because he punch, and we see that. You know, but what type of recognition I'm gonna give for, you know, beating up on Tank?
And hearing what he had to say, I mean, look, Tank Davis is a little guy. You know, Bud pretty much little dude in him. Said he is a little dude. He's only 5'5". Like, I'm not going to get no credit for beating Tank Davis. But if he wants to come up to 147 pounds, it's a big money fight. But it's not really something that I'm really checking for like that. I'm not going to get no credit for beating up on Tank Davis. Yeah, he's punching hard. Yeah, we know he can punch. But he's punching dudes hard that's in his weight class. There's levels to this. And I'm on a different level. That's pretty much what Terence Bud Crawford said in a nutshell. Very humbly, though, right? And then Canelo Alvarez gets brought up. A potential fight with Canelo. Yeah, that's right. And before, Crawford said, Canelo's too big. He didn't seem too interested. But now, check out what he had to say.
I mean, everybody keeps bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, you know, because you'd have to gain, 20 pounds?
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, you know what I mean? Catch weight. We can do something at a catch weight.
What weight you think?
Probably 160 or something.
But you said you said 154 is the highest you want to go.
Yeah, 158. 160, that'd be cool.
Hearing Bud had to say, 158 pounds for a fight with Canelo Alvarez. Now, will Canelo Alvarez entertain a fight with Terence Crawford? Will Canelo Alvarez be willing to get down to 158 pounds to fight Terence Crawford? It's a huge, huge fight, and it'll arguably be one of the absolute biggest fights in boxing to be made. You got the pound-for-pound king, one of the best fighters of his era, and then you got another guy who's considered one of the best fighters in his era, and Canelo Alvarez, also the cash cow money king of the sport of boxing. So that's a massive, massive, massive fight. If it was to happen, if it could happen. Could Canelo get down to 158? I'm not quite sure. He's been at 168 for quite some time, and I think he's kind of comfortable at 168 pounds. Terence Bud Crawford will have to gain 20 pounds to compete with Canelo Alvarez in that fight. Could Terence Bud Crawford do it? Absolutely. However, will he do it? I don't know. It's up to Canelo. I think if Canelo presses the gas on that fight and the fans got interested, I think that's a fight that could possibly happen in the near future. But we would hold our breath on that one, right? There's other guys like Jamel Charlo that Crawford seems to be hell-bent on facing next. So yeah, man, that's the video. Another Bud Mania video. Terence Bud Crawford is doing his media rounds. Terence Bud Crawford is the hottest name right now in the sport of boxing. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.